Hello YouTube, Anderson Cutting here, and want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. This is actually YouTube channel number 2. The first one just had a whole lot of other stuff on there, and it wasn't really focused in on anything. So after some discussion with my son, we just made the decision to start off with a second YouTube channel, start it off from scratch, and just build it up. We're going to be focused on two things here, spirituality and personal growth. So depending on where you're at in your life and what you're dealing with, the video could be about spirituality or it could be about personal growth. And I just feel that with everything I've been through in my life and all the experiences that I've had, I just feel like I have a lot of information that I can share to help individuals that are working through some different things that are going on in their life. Let's talk a little bit about me, something I really don't do that often, but I'm going to do it so that you can get to know me better. I was born in the West Indies, a country called Trinidad. My father's actually from Barbados, my mother's from Trinidad, so I guess that makes me a hybrid. So I came to the United States when I was 6 years old and grew up in the inner city of Detroit. Now you got to understand, my father's a minister, United Methodist denomination. So here I was at the age of 6 in a brand new country, a brand new culture. My parents were heavily into Christianity and the ministry. And on top of it, I had an accent. So it was very, very, very hard for me to fit in. Not a lot of family or in-laws in my younger years, just growing up. It was just primarily my two sisters and myself. So it was very tough for me to fit in. Very, very tough. And through my early years, I just found myself with this challenge of trying to fit in, trying to be accepted. And I dealt with that all through, growing up in my younger years. Now, when I turned about 13, going into my 14th birthday, I started to gravitate towards the streets. I started hanging out with a lot of the guys who were running the streets, selling drugs, and it predominantly became my lifestyle. It was just something that I was just fascinated with. It was not uncommon to run into a kid 14, 15 years old with $2, $3, $4, $5,000 in their pocket, and that lifestyle, that materialistic lifestyle, just drew me in. Left home at a young age, and I remember 17, I caught a big case. I was facing 20 years in jail and beat the case. It was drug related, beat the case, and shortly after that, opportunity came up for me to move to the state of Ohio. And I can remember back then I said, you know what, I need to just take this opportunity and get away from everything that I was a part of, and migrated to the state of Ohio. Back then, I didn't know how to take myself. Even though I took myself, I didn't understand that a lot of times you can't run from the problem. A lot of times you have to work through the problem and work it through yourself. So here I was in the state of Ohio, starting over, but more grief came into my life. I can be honest with you and tell you that in my 20s, a lot of my 20s, I was not consciously aware of a lot of things that I was doing. I was more in a reactionary mode versus anything else. So something happened in my life, I reacted. Something happened to me, I blamed. I did a lot of blaming. I lived a lot of my 20s in a victim type energy and vibration, and all of that landed me on Suicide Island, where I had a bout with suicide. And I'll never forget, I had a Glock in my mouth. I was in my underwear in a condo that I was living in on the bathroom floor, and I was going to end it. And then a voice came through, and the voice said, well, why are you giving your power away to other people? And it was something about the way the message came in. I was still in a lot of pain. I was still in a lot of grief. But that statement, that voice that came in, it gave me a spark of hope. Just a little bit of hope. And what that little bit of hope did for me was it allowed me to gradually pick myself up and start the rebuilding process of my life. Now, I want to tell you that going from that to where I am now, there were a lot of bumps in the road. It was by nowhere near easy. You know, a lot of people talk about how they transition from a very dark place to where they are currently, but their journey, that's where the real story is. So one of the reasons why I'm creating this channel and sharing with you is because I really feel that there are a lot of people that are dealing with a situation where they find themselves in a very, very dark place. And as I look back to that time in my life, there are a couple things that stand out. Number one, it was the pain, the inner pain, and not knowing what to do with the pain. Number two, it was the feeling of unworthiness. So you have your pain and you have your unworthiness. And then number three, it was not knowing who to turn to. See, back then, I knew a ton of people, but people came to me to help them with their problems. People came to me when they had an issue and they looked to Ace to help them through, whatever they were going through. But I had no one to help me with what I was going through. Knew a ton of people, but I wasn't comfortable sharing with anyone what I was going through. And there are a couple reasons why. One was pride. One was the risk of judgment and criticism. One was I didn't want it to get around and, I'd be part of a gossip, thing that everyone is telling everybody what's going on with me. And I just didn't trust myself back then. So I kept all of this pretty much bottled up. And I really feel that there are a lot of people like that. And by not being able to reach out to anyone, I was really forced to deal with this internally. So after that bout with suicide and the voice that intervened, I literally started going through some things internally to help put my life back together. One of the things that was very profound in my life was when meditation found me, or I found meditation. And it was really weird because no one taught me how to meditate. I fell into the practice, and I can tell you that that is probably one of the biggest things that really pulled me out of this dark spot, because it allowed me to start to deal with some things that were going on with me on the inside. And for the first time in my life, I understood what it was to validate myself, because a lot of people look outside of themselves for validation, and very few of us understand the power of just validating ourselves and loving ourselves to the point where we can stand on our own. So that was very new to me, because where are you going to learn that? They don't teach you that in school. They don't teach you that anywhere. They don't teach you that around the dinner table. It's not a conversation that, a lot of parents have with their kids. So meditation brought me through that. In addition to the meditation, it was the journaling and it was the reading, because I went through a process where I had to deprogram a lot of the things that were in me and put new information within myself at the same time. So that's one of the reasons why I created this channel, because I wanted to be a lifeline for anyone out there that may feel alone, that may feel that they don't have anyone they can trust, and that they don't feel that they have a way out, because we deal with issues and we are always going outside of ourselves to deal with these issues, not realizing that a lot of the answers that we need, we can find within ourselves if we just understood the process of doing that. So, some of the videos I'm going to be very transparent and, talk to you guys about. I can tell you this, after coming out of that situation with myself, I remember one time I was meditating And I just asked Source, I asked God, I'm like, why am I going through all this BS? You know, why am I going through all this crap? And I remember the answer, and the answer was, hey, all of the experiences that you're going through, everything that you're fighting and battling right now, you're going to be able to use to help someone else. And I can honestly say that back then, I had no idea what that was about because I was in so much pain. But moving forward, and even today, it makes total sense because I've spent the last 10, 12, 15 years of my life just doing that, helping other individuals, helping people through their personal situations, their personal trials and tribulations. I think for a very long time, I've known that I'm supposed to do this type of work. The challenge that I've always had is, how is it going to take care of my family? How is it going to pay the bills? How am I going to create a lifestyle doing it? So predominantly for the last 15 years of my life, I've been in this business quadrant. I run a number of businesses. I do extremely well, but I've stayed predominantly in this circle of business. It's business, 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 business. However, in this business quadrant, I deal with salespeople and I help them with their personal issues, personal situations. I help individuals get better. And as a result of that, they're not only better personally, but they're better professionally. So now what I'm doing is taking the rest of humanity, I guess, in this other quadrant, and I'm pulling it all together. I'm pulling the business and humanity, putting it all in one, because I believe there's space in on both sides for me to create balance and to help everyone. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this YouTube channel, is to do that, to just give more of myself to everyone and get out of this business quadrant. I'm still going to be operating in this, but now it's going to be all together under one umbrella. So that's the reason why I'm doing this YouTube channel. I'm not going to put any pressure on myself as far as how many videos, expectations. I'm just going to stay in the moment. I'm just going to be led, allow Spirit to just guide me, and I'm just going to shoot videos and put them up. I feel blessed to be here. I feel blessed to have you here watching me. And my entire goal, and I shouldn't probably call it a goal, but the intention is for every video that I put out, for it to leave meaning, leave love, and leave an expression where you can feel what I'm saying. By no means am I a guru. By no means do I know everything, because I'm still evolving. I'm still working on myself, and I challenge myself to get better each and every day. However, anytime that you see a video, you're going to understand that I'm coming from my truth, and I'm really coming from my experience, and that's the biggest thing that I want you to get. So we're going to talk about everything here. We're going to talk about everything. There is no boundaries. I'm going to stay in the spirituality, personal growth, but, you know, we're going to talk about some things. And again, the intention is to really just help you through your journey and really provide some content that you may be able to take and help you in your journey of life. I believe that information circles around. I believe that we're all on a spiritual path, a spiritual journey. I'm not here to save souls or save lives. I don't believe anyone needs to be saved. I do feel that certain individuals were put on this planet to bring light to other people and bring light to situations. And I believe I'm one of those individuals. There are a number of people on this planet that are doing some fascinating work in their own spectrum, dealing with spirituality, consciousness, and raising the vibration of the planet. And I feel that I'm one of those individuals. So I feel that there's a segment of the population that I'm going to reach in humanity, and I hope that you're one of them. But again, I want to thank you for being here. I feel blessed. I feel honored just having you here and allowing me just to share a few moments with you. And I'm going to close this video out and just get ready for the next one. Buckle up. We're going to have a lot of fun here. We're going to keep things light. But again, the intention is love and to help you on your journey of life. Okay? Love and respect. And I look forward to talking to you in the next video.